There's a moment on Sunday, somewhere around 4 in the afternoon, when the rest just evaporates and Monday already starts to sit on your chest. If you know that feeling, you're not lazy and you're not dramatic. There's even an informal name people use for it, the Sunday Scaries. But the name matters less than the experience, because somehow Sunday is still happening and yet it already feels over. The light outside changes. You remember the laundry. You think about what time you need to wake up. You vaguely remember an email you didn't answer on Friday. Maybe there's a meeting tomorrow morning. Maybe there isn't even anything particularly bad waiting for you. And still, something shifts. At noon, you had a whole day. At 4:30, you're basically waiting for Monday. And this is the strange part. Monday hasn't actually taken anything from you yet, but somehow it has already taken Sunday evening. You're sitting on the couch, but mentally you're commuting. You're having dinner, but part of your brain is arranging tomorrow. You're watching something, but you keep checking the time. 8:14, 8:47, 9:22. Every hour feels less like Sunday and more like a countdown. And eventually you go to bed thinking, that was my weekend? Which feels unfair, because technically you had 2 days. But emotionally, it sometimes feels like you had Saturday and then a long preparation period for Monday. I think part of the reason this feeling is so frustrating is that nothing is actually wrong in the moment. You're not at work. Nobody is asking you to do anything. You may be in your own home, wearing clothes nobody should ever see outside your home, eating something directly from the container. By all available evidence, you are free. But you don't feel free, because your body is on Sunday and your attention has already moved to Monday. And wherever your attention goes, a little bit of your life goes with it. That might be the real problem with Sunday afternoon. It isn't always that Monday is terrible. It's that anticipation allows Monday to arrive early. And anticipation is incredibly good at taking a vague future and making it feel present. Think about the difference between something happening and knowing something is going to happen. Sometimes the waiting is almost more exhausting than the thing itself. You have a difficult conversation scheduled for 3 o'clock, and somehow the conversation occupies the entire morning. You have to leave for the airport at 5, so your day somehow ends at noon. You have an appointment tomorrow, and part of tonight already belongs to it. Monday can work the same way. You know it's coming. So your brain starts setting up the room for it. What do I need to do? What did I forget? What am I walking back into? How early should I sleep? Did I prepare lunch? Is there gas in the car? What was that thing my manager mentioned? Oh, right, that thing. And suddenly, Sunday becomes less of a day and more of a waiting room. You're not doing Monday yet. You're just no longer fully doing Sunday. And I think a lot of us make this worse because we believe Sunday evening has a job. It has to prepare us. Sunday night has to make us organized enough, rested enough, motivated enough, clean enough, meal prepped enough, emotionally stable enough, and spiritually renewed enough to survive the next 5 days. That's a lot to ask from one evening. No wonder Sunday starts feeling heavy. We turn it into the launch pad for our entire week. You can almost hear the advice. Prepare your clothes, prepare your meals, review your calendar, set your goals, clean your space, plan your workouts, get to bed early, drink water, journal, stretch. Become, in approximately 3 hours, the kind of person who has absolutely no problems on Monday morning. And some preparation genuinely helps. But there is a point where preparing for Monday becomes spending Sunday rehearsing Monday. You're technically off, but everything you're doing is in service of being back on. And the weekend begins to feel less like part of your life and more like maintenance for your working self. Like the only purpose of Sunday is to make Monday easier. That's when something worth noticing happens. You stop asking, "What would I like to do with the rest of today?" And you start asking, "What should I do so tomorrow doesn't hurt?" Those are very different questions. One belongs to Sunday, the other already belongs to Monday. And maybe the first thing that helps is simply catching the moment when those two get confused. Because you probably won't stop thinking about Monday completely. That's not realistic. You have responsibilities. You know tomorrow exists. The goal isn't to achieve some perfectly serene state where the concept of employment disappears from your mind at 5:01 p.m. on Friday. The goal is smaller. It's to stop giving Monday more hours than it actually owns. One way to do that is to get specific, because vague dread grows very easily. Specific problems are smaller. So when that Sunday feeling appears, instead of saying, "Ugh, tomorrow," try asking, "What exactly about tomorrow am I reacting to?" Not the whole week, not your entire career, not adulthood. Tomorrow. Maybe it's getting up early. Maybe it's one meeting. Maybe it's the pile of messages waiting for you. Maybe you haven't finished something. Maybe you simply dislike the transition from having control over your time to having less control over it. That last one is important. Sometimes there isn't a disaster waiting on Monday. There's just structure, alarm, commute, schedule, requests, deadlines, other people having access to your attention again. After 2 days of deciding when to eat, when to shower, when to leave the house, and whether putting on real pants is worth the effort, Monday can feel like handing your time back. Of course, part of you resists that. But when you name the actual thing you're resisting, something changes. Tomorrow is terrible, is enormous. I don't want to wake up at 6:30 is smaller. I hate Mondays is enormous. I'm dreading that 9 a.m. meeting is something your mind can actually look at. Specificity doesn't always solve the problem, but it stops the problem from becoming everything. The second thing that helps is giving Monday a clear beginning. A surprising amount of Sunday dread comes from Monday feeling shapeless. You imagine opening your laptop and being hit by everything at once: emails, messages, tasks, requests, the thing you forgot, the thing someone else forgot and will somehow become your problem. So before the weekend, or at some point that doesn't eat your entire Sunday, decide what Monday begins with. One thing. Not your whole productivity system. Not an inspirational morning routine. Just, when I start tomorrow, this is the first thing I'm doing. Maybe the first 20 minutes are checking your calendar and messages. Maybe you finish one small task before opening everything else. Maybe you write down the 3 things that actually matter. The point isn't optimization. It's giving Monday a front door. Because something with a front door feels easier to enter than something that feels like a wall. And once your brain knows where Monday starts, it may feel less pressure to spend Sunday mentally searching for the entrance. Then there's the third thing, and this might be the most important. Give Sunday evening something that belongs only to Sunday. Not preparation, not recovery for work, not self-improvement. Something that has no argument with Monday. Maybe there's a meal you like making. Maybe you walk somewhere. Maybe you watch one film instead of scrolling through 17 things while enjoying none of them. Maybe you call someone. Maybe you read. Maybe you take a ridiculously long shower. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that Sunday evening stops becoming empty territory for Monday to occupy. Because if you leave those final hours with no identity of their own, Monday will happily move in. Your mind loves filling empty space with unfinished business. So give the evening a shape. Not because you need another routine, because you deserve to experience the part of the weekend that is still actually happening. And there's another thought that has helped me understand this feeling. You do not need to feel excited about Monday in order to stop sacrificing Sunday to it. Sometimes we accidentally create a new problem by thinking we're supposed to love the week ahead. You see people online saying things like, "Build a life you don't need a vacation from," which sounds great until it's Sunday at 7 p.m. and you are wondering whether the fact that you would rather stay home tomorrow means you have failed at designing your existence. You haven't. Work can be fine, and you can still prefer free time. You can like your colleagues and not want an alarm. You can be grateful for your job and still feel disappointed that the weekend is ending. Two things are allowed to be true. You do not have to turn Monday into something wonderful. You just have to stop making it arrive twice. Once in your imagination on Sunday, and then again when the alarm actually rings. Because think about how strange that is. We experience an unpleasant moment in advance, and then we experience the actual moment too. Monday gets paid twice. Maybe it doesn't deserve that kind of overtime. So this Sunday, notice the moment when the shift happens. Maybe it's 4 o'clock, maybe 6, maybe the moment the sun starts going down. Maybe it's when you open your calendar just for a second. When you feel Monday beginning to leak into the room, don't fight the feeling. Just notice it and ask, is there something I actually need to do right now? Or am I just experiencing tomorrow early? If there is something useful to do it. Send the thing, set the alarm, write down the first task. Take 5 or 10 minutes and make tomorrow slightly clearer. Then come back, because Monday does not need the rest of the evening. You already know it's coming. You don't have to keep checking. And if there's nothing you can do tonight, then maybe that thought doesn't need an answer yet. It can wait where it belongs, tomorrow. That might be one of the quieter skills of adulthood, learning that not every future responsibility needs your present attention. There will always be something next. Another workday, another appointment, another deadline, another Monday. If the existence of the next thing is enough to erase the thing you're currently in, you can accidentally spend a huge amount of your life waiting for whatever comes after it. Sunday waiting for Monday. The evening waiting for tomorrow. The vacation waiting for the flight home. Dinner waiting for the dishes. A good moment waiting for the moment when it ends. And maybe the goal isn't to stop anticipating. Maybe it's simply to get better at returning. Yes, tomorrow is Monday, but right now, it isn't. Right now, there's still coffee in the cup. There's still light outside. There's still an episode left. There's still someone sitting across from you. There's still an evening that hasn't happened yet. Monday can have Monday. It doesn't need Sunday too. And if this helped you put a name to one of those strangely ordinary things that makes life heavier than it needs to be, you can subscribe to How to Survive Yourself. That's what we talk about here. Not how to become a completely different person, just how to make being the person you already are a little easier to live with.